when the soundbite triumphs over truth, then all of us suffer.
This is a very challenging and difficult and also exciting time to be alive.
We, the people, have the power to educate our friends, our neighbors, our communities, our country on the issues confronting us today and to change the world for the better.
Without the local media, we might be lost.
So it's just almost 9 o'clock, so if you'd like to make your way to the first session that you would like to participate in, that'd be great. Thank you.
I have a confession to make. Most of the news I read today, I obtain on blogs, on Facebook, on radio stations like WERU, and I have a significant distrust for some of what I might hear on traditional news outlets, including television and some of the print dailies that have been institutions of the First Amendment and free press.
I'm curious as to why what your vision of the future of the mainstream press is that you're working so hard to kind of clean up.
I think that's where activists can make a difference. Constituent pressure, reader pressure on some of these venues can sometimes change how the venue approaches a particular issue. A significant number of the problems we face today in terms of inequality, in terms of oppression, over-incarceration, are rooted in a lack of information, a lack of education. I think there's a real role for the grassroots media in this forum. 2 years ago, I read a survey of Americans and who they trust for news sources, and it turns out that for better or for worse, Americans trust our neighbors and our family members for the truth. And that's where the grassroots media can be incredibly powerful. I think grassroots media is critical to the health of our democracy. I think the activists and journalists who are working in radio, in documentary film, in art, in blogging are the ones who are telling the truth, who are sharing stories that people need to know about.
For years, we never had to pay rights fees.
For me, today was very inspiring because here are over 100 Mainers dedicated to changing this. It's been a treat and a joy and an inspiration to interact with so many people who are involved in truth-telling and sharing our stories.
As a lot of you know, I've been working on this portrait series for nearly 10 years now, and I'm just finishing portrait number 170, which is, 120 portraits beyond what I dreamed that I would do. I've started a project 10 years ago called Americans Who Tell the Truth, which involves painting a series of portraits about basically American activists, everybody from Frederick Douglass and Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony up to contemporary activists, like there's a portrait right there of Eve Ensler. I'll just give you a couple of examples of artists you may not know about who have inspired me enormously. It's extraordinary, the stories that are out there, the work that's being done. My goodness, how can there be such great people in this country working so hard in such a persistent and courageous and heartfelt way, and we're still not getting it? We're so screwed up.
I mean, just coming down at lunchtime, just walking into the lunchroom, I think was a really great visual for this event because the banquet hall was packed. You could just look in and see everybody in one place, over 100 people sharing food and having a chance to really connect on that human level, not just the logistical workshop part of it too.
Local media is important in the same way that local food is important. Just like having small family farms providing food to the community makes it strong, because we're not dependent on the outside for survival, whether that's nutritional survival or information and entertainment survival.
Lunch was totally local. Our caterer sourced almost all the food from local farms in the area.
But do you think there's a market for
From freshness to creating a new food system that is vibrant and self-supporting and doesn't rely on fossil fuels to transport. And so yeah, a lot of the same values around community media found right on our plates too.
Not my face, I said. Yes, I'm a Native American activist. I've been an activist for many years. Spokesperson with the Indian movement. My job is just to try to teach people, the truth about Native people, because there's a lot of stereotyping. Teach people about environmental racism, and teach people about what it's like for me to be Indian in white America. I want to thank the white man for the computers, so that really helps. Red Man, I'm with the Native organizations of helping indigenous people and us get our land back if Obama signs the Indigenous Act. Thank you.
I go into an awful lot of schools to talk to kids, and I often ask them, what are the prerequisites for a successful democracy in any culture? Most kids in this country, in the schools that I go into, don't have a clue. They have not been taught basic civics or what it means to be a citizen in our society. The key to the success of democracy is education. If you don't educate your kids to know their own history, to understand their own stories of what really happened in their society, to guarantee their rights and freedoms, they don't then carry forward into that society any awareness of what it means to be a citizen in a democratic culture. What they don't tell is the stories of the people that I've tried to paint, the people who have worked courageously and persistently to try to close that gap between what we say as a country and what we actually do. Whether you're talking about the end of slavery, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the gay rights movement, the labor movements, the end of child labor. It happens because people insist on it and are willing to sacrifice enormously in order to make it real. How do we inform ourselves? Do we turn off the major media and concentrate on the voices coming from our grassroots media? I think it's in that is our own political and actually spiritual salvation.
I think an event like this is important, especially in a rural state like Maine, where people can be working on similar things and have valuable things to share with each other, but be really separated geographically. While all this media consolidation is happening, I think it's really important that from the grassroots we really make the most of the new technologies that are coming out.
What happens here is they give you hope. You find out, oh my gosh, look at these young people, look what they're doing.
Today's story is about a diverse, eclectic group of activists coming together